All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. So today we're deep diving into Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings call. We'll start with like a quick overview of the big numbers, but then we want to like really get into the interesting
Yeah,
stuff.
the good stuff.
Right. Like what the execs are saying to the analysts.
Yeah, like what's the subtext, right?
Exactly. Like what are the real challenges? What are they, what are they excited about? All that.
It's like reading between the lines.
Exactly. And we've got some good material to work with here. Like right off the bat, everyone knows Tesla's making money in a tough EV market.
Right?
But how tough is it really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Elon Musk straight up said, no EV company is even profitable. To the best of my knowledge, there was no EV division of any company, of any existing car company that is profitable.
Wow.
So, like, he's really setting the stage there.
He's not mincing words.
Right. Like, this is a tough business.
Yeah.
And Tesla delivered a record 479,000 vehicles this quarter. Like, their 7 millionth vehicle rolled off the line.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. But automotive gross margin, excluding regulatory credits, was 18.2%.
Yeah, a year ago it was 27.9%.
Oof, that's a big...
That's a big drop.
That's a big drop. So record deliveries, but shrinking margins.
Yeah.
Makes you see why they're so focused on those more affordable models coming in 2025.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, they need that volume.
Yeah, they need to make them more accessible to people.
For sure. And during the Q&A, Musk made like this really bold prediction about those new models.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I think we've got a good shot at 20 to 30% growth next year. Assuming no major global disruptions, of course.
Right. Always going to have that caveat.
Of course. But here's the thing. He sees lower-priced cars and full self-driving as the key to that growth.
Interesting.
Like, both of those things have to happen.
So he's betting big on FSD really taking off next year.
Yeah, it seems that way, right?
Yeah.
He even talked about how Tesla employees in the Bay Area are already using a ride-hailing service powered by FSD.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, it's like still in beta. There's still a safety driver. But he said the system doesn't actually need them to function.
Huh.
And he expects to launch this service publicly in California and Texas in 2025.
That's pretty ambitious.
Super ambitious, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a lot to, like, digest there. But before we, like, go full speed ahead into robo-taxis, can we back up for a second and talk Cybertruck?
Oh, the Cybertruck, sure.
Like, we know it's coming, but Musk has thrown out some, like, huge production numbers.
Yeah.
Like, outlandish, potentially.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the deal there?
Well, he's aiming for at least 2 million Cybertrucks a year, maybe even 4 million eventually.
4 million.
Yeah. And this is where those behind-the-scenes insights get really interesting.
Okay, yeah.
So an analyst asked about their strategy for hitting those numbers, and Musk hinted at, like, a totally new way of manufacturing cars.
Did he give any details?
He was being pretty cagey about it.
Ugh, classic Elon self.
Yeah, he compared it to Tesla's battery technology and said, you can't just, like, buy a factory. You can't reverse engineer a factory.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so it sounds like they're developing something, like, completely unique.
Wow, cryptic, but definitely intriguing.
Yeah.
That's Tesla for you, always pushing the boundaries.
Always.
So, okay, let's recap. We got record deliveries, but shrinking margins, huge bets on affordable models and FSD, and a potentially revolutionary Cybertruck factory. I mean, where do we even go from here?
Well, before we jump ahead to Optimus and all of Tesla's other ventures, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of their financials a bit more, because there was this one analyst who pointed out that their operating expenses increased faster than revenue this quarter, and he's right to flag that, Tesla's operating expenses were up 28% year over year.
Yeah, it's a pretty big jump.
It is, and it kind of gets to the heart of this debate about Tesla, right? Like, are they prioritizing growth over profits?
Right. Are they sacrificing profits just to get bigger?
Exactly. It's a tough balance.
So, like, what did Musk say about those rising costs? Did he address that at all?
He did, yeah.
What did he say?
Well, he basically acknowledged that they're spending a ton of money on R&D and, like, expanding their manufacturing footprint.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
He specifically mentioned the new Megapack factory in Shanghai.
Oh, right.
Said it'll come online Q1 2025 with a 20 gigawatt hours annual capacity.
Wow.
But he argued that these investments are, essential for Tesla's long-term success.
Okay, so it's like we got to spend money to make money.
Exactly. That's the classic line.
But did anyone push back on that? Like any of the analysts?
One did, yeah.
Okay.
He was like, okay, but what's the timeline for these expenses to actually start paying off?
Right.
Especially as competition heats up.
I bet that got Musk's attention.
Oh, for sure.
What do you say?
He didn't give, a specific timeline,
Of course not.
but he really emphasized Tesla's focus on vertical integration.
Okay, right, like controlling the whole supply chain
Exactly.
from like the batteries to the software.
Yep. He even said, we're masters of our own destiny in a way that very few companies are.
Interesting.
So basically, they're trying to control as much of the production process as possible.
Right, we were talking about that earlier. Like, they're even building a lithium refinery, which is kind of crazy.
It is.
But how does that tie back to profitability?
Well, Musk's argument is that vertical integration gives them a cost advantage and more control over their supply chain.
Okay.
And he pointed to their energy storage business as an example.
Oh, interesting.
He said, the demand for stationary storage is insane. We're seeing almost 2 terawatt hours a year of demand.
2 terawatt hours. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds like a lot.
Oh, it's massive. It just shows how huge the energy transition is, and Tesla's, positioning themselves to be a major player.
Right.
Musk said their energy storage business is growing like wildfire.
Wow.
And he sees it as a major contributor to their future profits.
So while everyone's focused on cars, Tesla's quietly building this energy empire.
It's true. They really are.
It's like 2 different companies.
Yeah, almost.
Okay, but let's get back to those cars for a minute. We talked about FSD and robotaxis. Anything else about autonomous driving come up in the Q&A?
Actually, there was a question about the Tesla Semi and when FSD will be ready for that platform.
Oh, right.
They've already deployed a couple hundred semis, which are gathering data to train the FSD system.
Okay.
Musk kind of hinted at the massive potential of autonomous trucks.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He said it would be a massive improvement in driver fatigue and driver safety.
Right, that makes sense.
And he also pointed out, the environmental benefits of electric trucks.
Yeah, if you can combine electric power with self-driving, you could really reduce emissions from trucking.
Huge impact, yeah.
So, okay, we've covered, profitability, growth, energy storage, autonomous trucks. But I feel like there's one big question that keeps coming up.
What's that?
Competition.
Yeah.
Tesla's been the dominant player in EVs for so long, but other companies are catching up. What did Musk say about that?
He acknowledged that the competition is getting tougher, but he emphasized Tesla's lead in AI and software.
Okay.
He even said, I think Tesla is the most efficient in the world in terms of inference compute.
Which basically means?
It's a measure of how efficiently their AI chips process information.
Okay, so it's not just about building the car anymore.
Okay.
It's about the brains behind it.
Exactly.
The software.
Yeah.
And he also hinted at Tesla's, long-term vision, which goes way beyond just cars.
Oh, yeah. He talked about Optimus, right?
Yeah. They're a humanoid robot.
He said it could eventually become the most valuable product that we make.
Wow. A robot more valuable than their cars, I can't even imagine.
It's hard to wrap your head around.
It is.
It shows just how ambitious Tesla's plans are.
It really does. They're not just trying to dominate EVs. They're trying to, revolutionize entire industries.
For sure.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
So with all that in mind, what's, the one big question you're left with after this earnings call?
Honestly, for me, it comes back to execution. Can they actually deliver on all these promises?
It's a lot, right? They've got so many things going on. New models, full self-driving, the Cybertruck, energy storage, and now robots.
Yeah, and analysts brought that up too. One of them pointed to Tesla's, recent track record of missed deadlines and production delays.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a fair point.
He even asked, how can investors be confident that Tesla can actually execute on all these plans?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
So what did Musk say to that?
Well, he admitted that Tesla has had its challenges in the past, but he said they've learned from their mistakes,
Okay.
that they're getting much better at program management. And he pointed to the successful ramp-up of Model Y production as an example.
Okay, yeah, they did manage to scale that up pretty quickly. But the Cybertruck and those new factories, those seem like a whole different ballgame.
They do, and that's why I think these next few quarters are going to be crucial for Tesla. They need to prove they can execute on their plans, meet those deadlines, and actually deliver on their promises.
So it's like a make-or-break moment for them.
I wouldn't say make or break, but it's definitely a time of intense scrutiny. The market's watching closely to see if they can live up to the hype.
And Musk seems to get that right.
Oh, yeah. He ended the call by saying, "We are heads down, focused on execution."
So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. But one thing's for sure, it's never dull with Tesla.
Never a dull moment. All right, well, that wraps up our deep dive into Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings call. Lots to think about, lots of questions still unanswered. Will they deliver on the Cybertruck? Will we see those robo-taxis on the road? Will the energy storage business keep growing like crazy?
We'll have to wait and see.
Exactly. Only time will tell.
But I have a feeling the next earnings call is going to be pretty interesting. Well, yeah, I'm already marking it on my calendar. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll be back soon with more insights from the world of business and tech. Until then, keep learning and keep exploring